It's time to sit back, relax, and listen to Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life will inspire, motivate, and empower you. Live your best life now. Listen, learn, think, and decide. Change your attitude, change your life. And now, here's your host, Joan Herman.
Welcome to Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. I'm Joan Herman. Thanks for tuning in. Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life brings you interviews with some of the most inspirational and influential people in the world. It's our goal to educate and empower you so you can live your best life now. Thank you for taking time for yourself, and thank you for letting us be a part of your life. We have another great show for you today. Making life flow and feeling your best is far more than physical health alone. It requires having a healthy emotional and spiritual life as well. According to today's guest, Dr. Christiane Northrup, what makes the efforts of modern medicine incomplete is that our medical system treats symptoms as things that need to be masked with drugs or eliminated with surgery. She equates it to putting duct tape over the check engine light on your dashboard rather than looking under the hood to see what the engine needs. She's a board-certified OB/GYN and New York Times best-selling author who's known for her empowering approach to women's health and wellness. Her new book is Making Life Easy, A Simple Guide to a Divinely Inspired Life. Welcome, Dr. Northrup. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, and what a great introduction. You did such a great job with that.
Well, it's your life. It's easy when there are great credentials. So, Doctor, you've been an OB/GYN and you incorporate emotions and spirituality into health, and you've been empowering women to take charge of their health and wellness. In your new book, Making Life Easy, you focus on why it's important to have a shift of perspective so we can see the bigger view. What is the bigger view that you write about, and why is this so significant?
Well, this is the stuff I've always believed since I was 12, long before I went to medical school. And the bigger view is that there are forces that are operating in our lives that we don't really pay attention to in medicine. So, for instance, we know, and every psychologist would agree, that 85% or 90% or 95% of what's going on in our lives is in the subconscious mind, that stuff that operates below the surface and appears in dreams and so on. And I've always known, for instance, that we don't have diseases just leap on us. Usually these are nurtured along when we are not paying attention to the dictates of our souls. They will come through our bodies. And there are certain times of the cycle, the life cycle, when the veil between the worlds of the unconscious and the conscious is thinner and the stuff comes up. And what we do in our culture, let's just take PMS, shall we? We say that women go crazy. And so then we say, well, back in the day, around the time of Walt Whitman, they literally removed women's ovaries, thinking that they were hysterical. The word for hysterectomy comes from hysteria, the Greek word. And so all of these wonderful barometers of how we were doing in relationship to our souls have been systematically medicalized by our profession. Obviously, my profession is OB/GYN. So in my profession, the way to deal with anything with a woman during her reproductive years is to put her on birth control pills, so that synthetic hormones are the duct tape over the indicator lights par excellence. There was just a New York Times article about it that made me laugh. I thought, we're back here again? My periods are terrible, but now, I've got this synthetic progesterone capsules in my arm, so I don't get the period anymore, and thank God, and it's just an inconvenience. It's hard for me to believe that women are still buying this. Do you see how beautifully this aligns with our cultural belief system, that something is inherently wrong with your body, and the way to treat it is to mask what's really going on?
How can this understanding then change our life? How can we impact our life by getting more clarity about the things that you're talking about?
Well, notice in the new book, so I begin with my information about angels and guides and beings of the light. I teach people how to literally bring divine love into their bodies as an actual energy. I talk about astrology. I'm not talking about the sun sign astrology in women's magazines. That's a parlor game. I'm really talking about astrology as a way to understand the soul's blueprint, and it brings in a much larger meaning so that if you suddenly are diagnosed with something, you don't have to say, oh my God, I'm a victim of my body. Instead, you say, whoa, wait a minute, this is happening so that my life will become richer, fuller, deeper, more meaningful than ever before. So you will see, for instance, if you look at Kelly Turner's book on so-called spontaneous remissions, right, from cancer, they're never spontaneous, where the person goes, wait a minute, and wakes up. Now, and that's very dramatic examples. Those are people with terminal diagnoses, and of course I've seen this my entire career, a terminal diagnosis, and the person goes, whoa, that's kind of an electroshock therapy wake-up call. What if, though, you lived your life this way so that, let's say, you found that you were very, very tired, and so instead of bullying through and making sure that your stress hormones were at maximum level, you instead said, wait a minute, my body is aligned with the phases of the moon, and I need a rest. What if you did that and you knew that that was your God-given, soul-satisfying right to care for yourself, and that, in fact, all of the seasons, all the phases of the moon, all of the processes of the body were actually designed for you to align with them? You see, why wait for cancer? Why wait for something big? Why not work with your dreams and work with the bigger energies? That, to me, is preventive health. Here's what we think in our culture. Get your shingle shot, get your flu shot, get your yearly physical, take your Lipitor, and you'll be fine. None of this is true.
And doctor, how about the things that we carry around with us, like shame and blame and guilt? These feelings, we deal with these on a regular basis. How do they harm our health? And what do you advise to release those emotions?
I love that you've asked me that. Well, first of all, the stellar work of Dr. Mario Martinez, who started the Biocognitive Science Institute, points out that all tribes wound their members in three ways to keep us under control. So this, by a tribe, I mean your profession, your family, possibly your religion. And the three big wounds are shame, abandonment, and betrayal. Shame being one of the most difficult, and we know that the wound of shame, and here's what shame is. So guilt says, I made a mistake. Shame says, I am a mistake, and that's from the work of Brené Brown. And that's the most painful emotion that we can ever feel, that we are a mistake. And in fact, having that shame in our bodies produces constant low levels of an inflammatory chemical called IL-6. And we know that all chronic degenerative diseases, arthritis, lupus, chronic fatigue, cancer, all of those have at their very base cellular inflammation. And so this IL-6 stuff contributes to cellular inflammation. Now, shame cannot exist in light, in humor. Like vampires can't live in the light. Shame, which kind of eats away at us, cannot live in clarity. So the first thing you do when you're ashamed of something is you call someone or you tell someone so that you bring it to light. But generally, the shame we're talking about, it can even be pre-verbal. I mean, we've all had experiences of suddenly being 4 years old. And that's the whole problem, is a 4-year-old running your endocrine system, your central nervous system, and your immune system. That's not a high-class MD, PhD kind of intellect. That's a 4-year-old. So when you're having a shame attack, understand that's what's happening. Your entire body system has been hijacked by an unhealed 4-year-old. And so what do? You don't berate the 4-year-old. Shame on you for feeling shame. You reach out with loving kindness to that part of yourself that is feeling so wounded. You can do it in community. Remember, community equals immunity. When you have a loving tribe that gets you, then that immediately will help with the shame. You suddenly realize, I remember way back in the 80s in my practice, I was noticing that all these women with chronic pelvic pain had been sexually abused. This is when my colleagues all said, your patients are all crazy. Mine are all normal. You get the crazy ones. So I was just noticing that this was going on while being shamed by my own profession. So, if 1 in 3 women has been sexually abused and the woman herself has been blaming herself that maybe if I had been different, I must have done something wrong, right? That's the feeling, because a little kid is trying desperately to make sense of their world. How could this have happened? It must have happened because I'm wrong or bad. And healing begins the minute that you say, wait a minute, and you go in and you love and you accept that scared little kid. And you decide the war stops with me.
The book is Making Life Easy, a simple guide to a divinely inspired life. If you would like to get more information about Dr. Northrup and her work, you can visit her website, drnorthrup.com. That's drnorthrup.com. Dr. Northrup, thank you so much for being here with us today. I love this conversation. I believe that it is so important that we look at ourselves as a sum of the parts, the mind, body, soul, spirit. And once we do that, we will become empowered and we will take charge of our lives. So thank you for this wonderful reminder.
Thank you for spreading the word.
We'll be right back. Hi, this is Joan Herman, host of Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life. Did you know that Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life has a free monthly digital magazine that can be read online or emailed to your inbox? Every month, nationally recognized leaders in their field provide information to educate, inspire, and motivate you. We believe in a holistic approach to life, incorporating mind, body, and spirit. Check out a copy of Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life 24/7. Visit cyacyl.com and be sure to tell your friends. Thank you for joining us. I hope you found the show informative. At Change Your Attitude, Change Your Life, we believe that knowledge is power. Take what you've learned, apply it, and live your best life now. Remember that the information provided are the opinions of our guests and should never replace the advice of a professional who knows your personal situation. If you'd like more information, visit our website, cyacyl.com. While on the site, listen to past shows on demand, read our digital magazine, take part in the book club, check out our team, and be sure to follow the show on social media. Until next time, this is Joan Herman. Thanks for tuning in.